Well, Rob Onus is the Emergency Manager for Syria for Médecins Sans Frontières. He says concern is growing for how aid organisations will deal with the influx of refugees.
I mean, what we've seen already is hundreds, if not thousands, of people coming into some of the different towns in which we're working. Everyone looks very distressed. They're effectively left with nothing. They're trying to find accommodation in houses, in shops, in schools. And for some of them, the water connection has been cut off in these schools. And so not only do they not have food or clothes or the basic living items, but they also maybe don't have access to water.
So what are they leaving their homes with?
People are leaving with the bare minimum. I mean, certainly there wasn't an expectation, I think, among a lot of the population that there would be a military offensive from the Turkish government, and so people weren't prepared. And once the shells started landing in their villages or nearby, people literally ran for their lives.
So does that mean that aid organisations like yours were also unprepared for the numbers of people that they've seen in the last 24 hours?
We've been concerned about the potential escalation of military activities in the region for a while, so we certainly have our preparedness in place. It's always difficult to predict what that might actually look like or what a military operation would actually look like when it happens. And so a lot of our work now is trying to ensure that we can adapt to different priorities as they arise. So certainly we're positioning ourselves in case there's an increase in trauma victims who may be injured from the conflict. But at the same time, we need to respond to this new displacement that's taking place. And furthermore, there's also large-scale displacement that's already existing in the region, in the existing displacement camp that we work in.
And tell me a little bit more about that, because there are already millions of Syrians in Turkey who are refugees.
Sure. I mean, we're working primarily with the many thousands and thousands of Syrians who are also displaced inside Syria. And actually, that's a significant concern for us, knowing that they're already in a precarious situation. Many of them can't return to their homes because they've been destroyed in the conflict. And now the conflict's coming to them again, and there's the potential that they'll be redisplaced and with nowhere to go.
You said that your teams are preparing for potential trauma and seeing people with injuries. Have they seen people present with injuries as a result of the airstrikes and artillery fire that's taken place in the last day?
No, at present, the hospitals in which we've worked have not been receiving any trauma victims at this stage. I mean, one of the main hospitals where we were working is close to the border, which was forced to close, largely because the population had fled. And with that population leaving was also a lot of the medical staff. So we pulled our teams back from that hospital to as I said, reprioritize and make sure that if the conflict continues, that we can respond to needs as they arise.
Thank you so much for your time, and we really hope that the situation doesn't get too much worse. Thanks.
No problem at all. Thanks.